So, yes, we will speak about what really the meaning of that short prayer. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. And that is followed by Shanti mantra that we chant 3 times, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So the entire thing is a prayer. And I think it's good for all of us to know what does it mean. And so knowing the meaning is the first step, but going into the detail of what really it implies is another thing. So let us talk of the meaning first. Asatoma Satgamaya. It really means lead us from darkness to the light. So that's the meaning. Now we have to understand what is the darkness we are talking about and what is the light that we are talking about. So the darkness here is about the ignorance, agnanta, ignorance. Ignorance is compared with the darkness. So when we say ignorance, the next question is ignorance about what? So the ignorance is about the life, the purpose of this life. Who am I? Where do we go after this? So that knowledge, that gyan is a light. So the darkness is agnanta or ignorance, and the light is gyan or knowledge or wisdom. So when we said darkness is ignorance, ignorance of what? And if the light is the gyan or knowledge or wisdom, the wisdom of what? So darkness or agnanta or ignorance is we consider the reality, what we perceive, what our sense organ perceive, we consider that as a reality. And that's our ignorance. So what we see with our eyes, what we hear, what we perceive with our senses, including our own self, our body, is ignorance. Now, that's a radical sentence because it is so real to us. We know that we exist. We know that we have a body. We know that we have a mind, our thoughts. We know our emotions. We know our intelligence. So we are sure about it. Similarly, we are sure about everything else that is surrounding us, all the objects that our senses can perceive. We are sure about it. We know it. But according to Vedanta, it is considered as the ignorance because all what we see is a reflection of our brain. It's a reflection of our consciousness. In reality, it does not exist. So therefore, the Vedanta, there are 2 categories of reality. Reality which changes or temporary or relative, and the reality which does not change, which is permanent, which is absolute. So the first sentence of prayer, lead us from darkness to light, is to have the knowledge to move on from relative reality to the absolute reality. Accept what is relative reality, which is temporary, but know it for sure that that is not absolute, that is not permanent. And our prayer for spiritualism is to know the absolute reality, the supreme reality, the unchanging reality. And that is light. So the first sentence of the prayer says, give us the wisdom to lead us from darkness to light, from ignorance to wisdom or knowledge. That's the first opening sentence. What is the second sentence? Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, which means from our limited understanding, give us the eternal knowledge or wisdom. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from agnanta or ignorance to the wisdom. And the third sentence is Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, which means lead us from mortality to immortality. Now, these all three are connected to the first sentence. When you realize that we are in ignorance and we have to seek the Dharna or knowledge or wisdom and move towards the light, everything else, the second sentence and third sentence, is the follow-up. In the sense, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Our body has the time limit. Body dies. But the essence of this body, the energy in this body does not. So lead us to a wisdom to know the body is not permanent, but the energy in our body is the permanent reality. Now all three sentences have to be contemplated. Do not take it as it is heard or as you read, but try to think on every single word and sentences. Try to understand it. Once you get it, you get the clarity. Remember our earlier messages or earlier talk that I have said. Information, convert that into knowledge. Knowledge should give you the clarity. Once subject have the clarity, nidhi abhyas, practice it. And that gives you the wisdom. So information, knowledge, clarity, nidhi, purity, wisdom. These three sentences of the prayer require our Shravana and Manana. Now, after these three sentences, we chant Shanti mantra by chanting Shanti 3 times. Why is it 3 times? Anyone has any idea about that? Have you ever thought, why are we saying 3 times and not 2 times or 4 times or whatever?
So, Acharya, I think one is for ourselves, one is for the people around us, and one is for the world.
That's right. So when we chant Shanti mantra, we have to have our understanding and vision related to all three aspects of three different existence, three different frequencies. So, like you said, first Shanti is for our own self. When I say our own self, it related to the Jivatma, that we are chanting Shanti mantra for our own self. Second is for all other Jiva. It need not be only for human, it can be for any living creature, every living creature, this planet or any other planet is the second Shanti mantra. And the third Shanti mantra is related to every object, every single object on this planet and elsewhere, which means all five elements and entire existence. So this Shanti mantra is the shortest of many different Shanti mantras. So you have to have in your mind a vision of all these frequencies, all these different planes. When we chant Shanti, we expect and we wish that there is a peace among us, within us, among us, and with every life force, every single life force. And that is really very wide spectrum, because when we say every life form, it includes even the blade of the grass or vegetation or any small life. Everything we wish a peace. And that's the reason why we chant 3 times. So according to our culture and Sanatana Dharma, every mantra is not something that you chant without understanding. You have to have a clear understanding and the vision and the emotion, the feeling, that you are wish for every life force a peace. So therefore, when you say Shanti, try to visualize as many as you can, the life force or a living being. And unfortunately, most of the time, many people chant without even realizing what they are doing. It's just that they have to join and chant, they chant. In our Vedas, the 75% of the text is all about rituals. And at that point of time, it was necessary. And it was necessary because there must be an attitude of gratitude for everything that exists. Everything that exists. And so that attitude of gratitude is the purpose of following those rituals, offering whatever the rituals that you are practicing. It is only last 20% of the Veda that speaks about knowledge or wisdom or Dhyana, known as Upanishads. So the book that we were talking about, Tattva Bodha, is beginning of Upanishad, is the let's say essence of Upanishads, just like Bhagavad Gita or other literature that we have. Tattva Bodha will tell us the beginning, our existence, what are the different bodies that we possess, who we are in essence, and it negates who we are not. Is that sufficient, Kapilji? Can I move on to the subject that I wanted to speak today?
Ji Acharya, thank you very much.
So I wanted to talk about what we have been talking about, Dharna and Dhyana, and then sometime I mentioned about Samadhi. So I'm sure that what we do for about 5 minutes of closing eyes and trying to have some dharna of watching breath or trying to visualize with eyes closed different objects. These are the simple dharana, and then you hold on to that for a longer period of time becomes dhyana. This we know, this I believe that we understand. But what is the Samadhi? Oh, most of the time, money books talk about meditation. Unfortunately, they don't talk about Samadhi or Dhyana, but they talk about meditation. So, in my opinion, meditation is related to Dhyana. That you have a subject or an object in your Dharna as a supposition, hold on to that for a longer period of time, becomes a meditation or Dhyana. Then, after certain practice of certain time, you are in position, you are capable, you are able to maintain that dharna and dhyana while engaging in other activity during your day activities, which is meditative state. That no matter what you are doing, whatever activity, whatever engagement that you have, you remain in the awareness that you are performing a role, but your original nature is peace, love, joy, and everything that you perceive is nothing but consciousness. So you are in that consciousness, and that consciousness is within us. When you are aware of that all the time, you are in meditative state. With your body and mind, you remain busy with whatever activity that you do. But by knowledge, you are aware that it is only performing a role. And that is Samadhi. That's meditative state is a Samadhi. Because you are aware, conscious about who you are. However, as I mentioned before, and I'm sure you remember, Samadhi is something that happens. You don't do it. So there are different kinds of Samadhi, and that is something that I thought I will share with you. First is the Samadhi according to the school of yoga, which is known as the Jada Samadhi, or something that you rigorously do is Jada Samadhi, which means you are sitting with your eyes closed with the Dharna and Dhyana and remain seated no matter you are comfortable or not comfortable, but because your intention is to hold on to your Dharna for a very, very long time, and you are expecting Samadhi to happen. So you are doing it. That is known as the Jada Samadhi, where there is a possibility that the awakening can happen or soul realization can happen, but it is short-lived. Moment you are out of that state of Samadhi, you are back to ignorance. You are back to the relative truth. So it is not something that stays with you. It stays with you maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 5 hours, whatever time you are able to hold on to that rigorous posture of samadhi with concentration. So that's Jara Samadhi. There is something called Sahaja Samadhi, which is what I will talking about right now. Sahaja Samadhi is a meditative state. In that Sahaja Samadhi, you are completely aware of who you are in reality. And yet, you are performing your role. Because you have taken this body, you have certain role assigned to you, all of us. And we cannot ditch those roles and stay away from our responsibility. We have to perform all our roles to the best of our ability, keeping in our mind very clear, totally aware that we are only performing a role without attachment, without expecting reward. With that clarity, when you perform a role and lead your life, you are in meditative state. And that's Samadhi. But in order to do that, in order to have that as your lifestyle, you need a lot of study, knowledge, wisdom, clarity, purity, which is why it is said, Viveka, we spoke about it. What is Viveka? Viveka, Vairagya. Sorry. Viveka, Vairagya, wisdom. And the clarity of what you are, in essence. Only that can help you to be in meditative state. Do you understand this? It is like when the person who is in Sahat Samadhi, who is all the time conscious about who am I, and when he knows that he is the consciousness, he is the Sat Chit Anant, he is Brahman, he or she would look like anybody else. Only difference is the person with that awakening, that realization, will not engage in pursuing the activity, but rather respond to his performing role. So in other words, he would not take initiative, but he would only respond. Now, all these sentences is something that one has to do the contemplation. When I say he would not take initiative, so we have to think, what does it mean? Does it mean that he would not eat, he would not feel hungry, he would not feel sick, he will not interact with people? No, everything will continue. He will eat, he may feel sick, he may have an illness, he will interact with people around him. Everything can continue as it is, but without any attachment, without any expectations, without any rewards, without any anything out of their advice or response. They do not expect anything. And that is the Sahaja Samadhi. And this can happen only after you have attained, you have received the clarity. And to attain the clarity, you need to have the Viveka and Vairagya, which means refrain from the activity of sense gratification and refrain from discrimination or judgment. When we are able to stay equipoised, sthita prajna, equipoised, only then you are qualified to practice Sahaj Samadhi. Because if you have in your thought, in your feelings, in your emotion, any amount of likes and dislikes, any judgment of what is good and what is not good, any discrimination of he or she is better than the other person, or situations or experiences, any of that kind of discrimination, you cannot have meditative state. Because in order to have Sahaj Samadhi or meditative state, you have to have that viveka, vairagya, clarity, purity of thoughts and emotions. Only then it is possible that you accept everything as it is. Now, it is easy to speak, it is easy to hear it, but try to practice this even for, let's say, one day. In our whatever busy life that we have, try to remain completely unattached, accept everything that happens as it is. Do not react. Do not make any judgment. Refrain from making any likes and dislikes. And that is, when you are able to do it, that is the quality of being equipoised or sthitipagya. In Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna emphasizes of the quality of sthitipagya. And that is it. In fact, that is the beginning to be in Sahaj Samadhi. Likewise, there are different kind of samadhis. There is something called Sakalpa Samadhi. There is something called Nirvalkalpa Samadhi. There is something called Kevalya Samadhi. There is something called Jada Samadhi. So there are different kind of samadhi, and samadhi means only one thing. Staying in that dharna and dhyana for a longer period of time without any deviation. Now, your dharna is your choice. You can have a dharna of a beautiful flower. You can have a dharna of a beautiful dress or a clothes or a piece of art or a music or a car, anything. But that dharna, if you are able to hold on for a longer period of time, you are in samadhi. Only thing is, that's the samadhi which is materialistic, which is temporary, which is relative, which is not absolute truth. So to pick the dharana of higher value is the first thing. So it's not only that you pick up anything randomly. In the beginning, in order to get used to sit in dharana and dhyana, you can pick any object or subject. Does not matter. It's just the practicing to sit in silence and stillness with one thought. That's the objective. But as you progress, your dharana must change. Your dharana must be of higher value, which means it could be a holy book. It could be the face of your deity. It could be face of your mother. It could be face of your guru or teacher. It could be a sound or chanting or mantra, anything of higher frequency as a dharana. Stay on that dharana for a long time. starting with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Dhyana is still not meditation, it's still not meditative, it's just the dhyana that you are holding on to your sitting posture without movement. Your mind is now without disturbance. You have no other thought except one, and one thought of your choice, and your choice of higher value. That Dharna and Dhyana. Now, only if you have followed certain high scriptural holy books, that knowledge and jnana of realized masters, you follow that and stay in that awareness, practice that clarity and purity by doing nidibhyas. You gain your wisdom. When you gain your own wisdom, live by that, and that's your Sahad Samadhi. That's your meditative state. There are steps, there are methods to follow. We are not qualified up to now to try the Sahad Samadhi because we are knowingly or unknowingly all the time engaging ourselves in our sense gratification. Sometimes it happens even without our knowledge because we are not mindful. So, Sahad Samadhi or Nirvilkalpa Dharna or Samadhi is the ultimate Samadhi, which is attained by those who have received that gyan, received that knowledge and contemplated on it, practice it by doing nidhyabhyas and make that as their own wisdom. It may not be easy to contemplate, it may not be easy to understand, but if you are a sincere seeker, you must find such subject, listen to it, read it, contemplate on it, and share it. Share it with your colleagues, your people who share the same views of your spirituality, which is satsang. But most important is manan. Contemplation is the most important in every single subject, no matter what it is, how significant or insignificant it is. Do not just simply act or react. Contemplate. Manan, think. And for that you need silence. And for that you need the stillness of your body first, and then stillness of your mind. Hold on to one thought, contemplate on that thought, and you will gain the insight. You will gain the insight. And by gaining that insight, your question or your seeking will dissolve. So, yoga is one school of spirituality which follows the practice of holding on to posture, sitting posture or lying posture, maintaining it in absolute stillness. Try to have silence with within you, around you. These are the environment, these are the faculties that help to enhance your focusing on one thought or dharna and dhyana. Initially, once you get used to it, you can be in that dharna and dhyana while moving, while walking, while cooking, while speaking. But that needs practice. There was a devotee who went to ask a question to Ramana Maharshi, and he said, I have been following you for many, many years, 30 years, 20 years, 30 years. Initially, you were always with your eyes closed and sitting in Samadhi. And we could see you, but you were not available to anybody. You were in Samadhi. But now, you are among us. You are talking, you are walking, you are interacting with people. So what happened? You are no more in Samadhi, or are you self-realized or not? And the response was a smile. No, not one word, only silence and loving smile on him. And he got his answer. Now, how did he get answer? How did he get, or rather he didn't get answer, but his question dissolved. How did that happen? It's the energy. The energy. All of us, we radiate energy, of all kind of energy. But once you are in so-called meditative state or samadhi, you radiate energy that can influence people around you. You don't have to use your words. You can pass on the wisdom or the knowledge or jnana without even opening your mouth through your energy. It is like, if you all know that a tradition of touching the feet of elders or teachers or guru or deity, and then you receive a grace or blessings. Yeah? There are no exchange of words there. You bow down, you put your head down, and whoever, whether it's your parents or teacher or guru or deity, place the hand on you or palm on you, or they don't even raise their hand. They just look upon you. There are no exchange of words, but there is an exchange of energy. There is an exchange of energy, the energy of a devotee, which is the attitude of surrender, that you surrender to your teacher, your parents, and you receive blessings. The energy of blessings, energy of well-wishing, energy of grace, without exchange of words. So it's the exchange of energy that takes place. So therefore, Ramana always maintained silence, and he did not use words because words have a limitation. Energy is free. Energy has no limitation. This is how the science of Reiki works. Reiki works based on the energy, that you become a medium and you receive a healing energy from Supreme, and you pass that healing energy to your subject, whoever is seeking. So it's operation of the frequency of extremely healing, positive energy. So we have to follow first to remain silent, still, and allow that energy to spread. Now, what energy can you spread? Your energy of your emotion, energy of your thought, energy of your wisdom, your knowledge, your gyan. But if you are engaging in the thought emotion of hatred or materialistic activity, you will radiate that kind of energy. So one thing is to conserve that energy, try to recognize that energy, and then hold on to energy, which is what we do when we do yoga of Kriya Yoga of Chakra, of Kundalini. We try to recognize we have energy. We try to have that energy movement within our body to different part of our body so that your body remain healthy. And then you radiate that energy to the higher chakras or higher levels where it is possible to spread, where it radiates and impresses and influences others around you. There is something called silence retreat, where you spend hours and hours together in silence. You are in a group, but you do not speak, you do not interact. There is no conversation by words or by through your senses. You can talk through your eyes, you can talk through your body movement. All is restrained. And that's silence retreat. So, and that is why there was a time, and there's a school which proposes to go once in a while in solitude. People go on holidays, but one should also try to find solitude, that you are by yourself, just by yourself, and if possible in nature, in open space, closer to plants and flora and fauna, or any other natural element. It could be on seashore or it could be anywhere. Basically closer to the nature, by yourself, alone. And try to observe everything as it is, without any judgment. Look at flower or look at the tree, look at the water in the sea, and just observe, witness. And when you are able to witness as it is, without discrimination, without naming, without any mental thought of good or not good, or like or do not like, whatever, when you do not have such discrimination and just simply observe as a witness, you are one with your own self. Because our original self is nothing but a witness or awareness. So to be with your own self is to be aware, is to be completely aware and be witness. Be a witness, sakshi bhav, be witness, without any discrimination, without naming anything, without making judgment. So next time when you are able to go out on a holiday or a day trip somewhere, try to find 1 hour or half hour, be by yourself alone, wherever you are. Just try. Are you able to refrain from likes and dislikes? You will see different, let's say you happen to be in a beautiful park and you see lovely flowers and you admire those flowers and colors and shape and fragrance, but you will see a lizard or you will see let's say a spider, or you will see something, and you will, without your knowledge, you will have resistance. You will try to resist not going closer to it, and your attitude towards that is not as pleasant as looking at flower. And that is the trouble. When you accept the beauty of flower, you should also be able to accept the thorn that grows on the plant, or lizard that walks around, or mosquitoes that can bite you. Accept. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a few thoughts. Is there anything that you people want to share or ask?
Acharya ji, on the one hand, we are longing for comfort and physical things like good houses and other means of transportation. And on the other hand, we want solitude and means detachment sort of things. How both of the things can go together?
Well, it is therefore necessary to first find out what is your position, what is your understanding of who is Pramod. Is the Pramod the name given to the body? Is you are a businessman or whatever profession you are you that? Are you 50 year or 60 year or 20 year? Are you the intellect as you think you are? Who you are? Who is asking this question? Who is having this thought? Ask this to your own self. The question that you just asked, which is very valid question for any seeker, is the question that you ask yourself. Who? First thing, if I would say, who is asking this question? Is Umesh asking this question? Is it my ego asking this question? Is it my ignorance asking this question? Is it my intelligence asking this question? Who is asking this question? And the answer that you will have yourself is that it is most of the time your mind, your brain, your intelligence, your ego is asking. Or you are seeking knowledge. You want to know it. But who wants to know it? It is within the frame of body, mind, and intelligence. And as you know, you are not the body, because if you are the body, when you were a 2-year boy, your body was different. When you are 20 years, your body was different. When you are at this age, your body is different. If you were a mind, your thoughts were different when you were a child or youth, but your thought now is different. Your emotions are different. Your intelligence is different. So things which changes cannot be real. The reality is unchanging. And body, mind, intelligence continuously changes. Therefore, that is not what we are. So what is it that is not changing is the question. It is this energy. It is this awareness. It is this consciousness. It is this knowing that I am existing. we don't need proof that I exist. Yeah, we know we exist. So what is it that exists? Body does not exist all the time. So there's something that exists all the time. So when we have that as a first step, and that is the Tattva Bodha that we're going to study. When you have clarity on that subject, this question will dissolve. You do need a house to live. You do need job to make money. You do need food to eat to survive. You do need family and friends because you have taken life. Keeping that in mind and in your heart very clear that this is only I am performing a role. I am a good actor. I'm acting here so well. And this is the first step. When you know that if you can buy a new house, why not buy it? That's okay. But moment you get attached to it, or moment you get the frustration for not getting it, then suffering start. And then it is taking you away from spirituality. Spirituality is the answer for suffering. And suffering is the cause of your attachment. Attachment is the cause of your suffering. So do not, having luxury, having the desire to acquire new things or new clothes or shoes or car or house, it's okay, you can have it. But when you don't have it, you should be equally happy. So, and that happens only when you know for sure and aware of it that it's okay, I am here for 60 years, 80 years, 90 years. I'm not permanent. And I am what is complete, what is eternal, what is omnipresent. That is what I am. Once you are clear about it, everything is okay. Then you can have what you have. And even if you don't have, you will be still smiling and happy. Because you know the fact, who you are. And that's why study of this literature or holy books are important, because that is not something that is preaching, that is something which has been revealed by that supreme energy. And that revelation happens when you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when you are in the state of complete awareness. So until then, our only Nityabhas is to gain the knowledge, get the clarity, do the effort of Viveka and Vairagya to get the purity. And that's it. The rest will happen.
Acharya ji,
So much. Yes, please.
you are told attachment is the cause of suffering, but attachment is necessary to do anything.
Love is necessary, not attachment. There is a difference between love and attachment. Love is necessary, not attachment. You can love your children, no doubt. You can love your spouse, you can love your friends, you can love your job, but do not get attached. Because everything that we can perceive is temporary. So why do you want to develop attachment for something which is temporary?
So,
because moment you have attachment for something which is temporary, it will bring you suffering either today, tomorrow, or sometime. But if you have no attachment and only the love, you will accept it. Whatever happens, whatever is the outcome, you will accept. Any more question?
So we should we must love also God, na? If we are loving to God, everywhere we must love. Love is important.
Yes. Yes. We know about love, but we all the time talk about love. But there is a lot to know about love. It's not easy. It's just we can talk about next Tuesday love. There are all kind of things. Love is something which is most misunderstood word.
Okay, Acharya ji.
Oh. Asata va Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us positivity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we need. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you for existence. Thank you, God, for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Acharya.
Is Aditi, you wanted to make some announcement?
Yes.
Do you want to?
So I was proposing a time of 45